Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So thank you so much for coming. It's a sunny day. We just had wasn't it a wonderful Harinam? Harinam Sankirtan ki. Just came back from Harinam. And we have a bit of time this evening to discuss something about Krishna. So yes, if you have anything in your heart, in your mind, questions, confusions, or just reflections, then we'll also have an opportunity to discuss many things. But we'll do a little bit of Kirtan first. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Krishna Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hey Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari 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 Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Jai Girivardhari Jai Gopi Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Jai Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Jai Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Ora Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Gaura Hari Bol Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Nitai Gaura Premanande Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Shri Shri Radha Gokulanand ki Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki Shri Shri Gaurnitai Bhagavan ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. So thank you very much everyone for being with us today for this wonderful session with His Holiness Svayam Bhagavan Keshav Maharaj Ki. So let's welcome Keshav Maharaj with 3 very loud Hari Bols. Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! So Maharaj, thank you so much for being with us today. So, just for our purification, I would like to say a few words about Maharaj. I'm sure most of you are very much aware about Maharaj, and he doesn't need full introduction. But however, just for our purification, let me just say a few words about Maharaj. So Maharaj graduated from University College of London, UCL, in 2002. That's around 20 years ago. And he graduated in Information Management, BSc. After that, Maharaj entered a full-time monastic life. He joined ashram as a full-time monk. So last 20 years, Maharaj has been a full-time monk, imagine. Yeah. So Maharaj recently, he accepted a vow of lifetime renunciation, very recently. Maharaj authored around 10 books. He's known for his very well lectures. He's a great book distributor. He had run several projects. He had his own website, Tattva, and School of Bhakti, etc., etc. Several program he leads. We are in very, in a right place. If you have any questions at the end of this lecture, please do ask. Maharaj is very, very experienced. So Maharaj also brought some books with them today. We got 3 books. I think only 3 books, Maharaj, here.
Only 3, yeah.
3 titles. So at the end of the session, if anybody wants to take a copy, they're available next door, and Maharaj is happy to sign them. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, His Holiness Keshav Maharaj ki jai. Maharaj will be with us tomorrow as well. There will be a morning session for Pandosena, but however, if anybody is interested, they can come and join. And Maharaj will be doing the afternoon Sunday feast lecture. Hare Krishna. Over to you, Maharaj.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you so much. Very happy to be here with you. And, well, before we begin, let us invoke Krishna's presence. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're beginning by invoking Krishna's presence. But actually, for the pure devotee of Krishna, Krishna is always present. You see, for us, we have to somehow or other focus our mind on Krishna. One devotee came to Srila Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, sometimes I forget Krishna. Prabhupada said, you always forget Krishna and sometimes you remember him. Our mind is going in 50 million places. We are here, but still we are thinking, who's on the main stage in the carnival? What will happen tomorrow? What's going on in my life? What happened yesterday or last week? What will happen to my kids? So many thoughts going through the mind. Chanchalam himana Krishna pramati balavadridam. Arjuna says the mind is so flickering. So we have to somehow or other focus our mind on Krishna. For some time we have to try to switch off. We have to try to shut out the material world and all the temporary responsibilities that we have. And for some time we have to focus on Krishna. Remembering that Krishna is the Param Gati, the ultimate destination where we're heading. Srila Prabhupada, however, was a pure devotee. He was always seeing Krishna. One reporter, he once came to Srila Prabhupada and he said, how do you choose your leaders in your movement? So this is on live television. So Prabhupada said, Krishna tells me. Really? So the reporter was like, Krishna tells you? So one devotee, he thought, let's make this a bit acceptable for the PR man. So he said, what he means is that Krishna is in his heart. And Prabhupada looked at him and said, no, Krishna tells me directly. Prabhupada was seeing Krishna. When Srila Prabhupada saw a picture, he didn't just see a picture, he saw Krishna. One time, Jadurani, she had made a painting, and Radharani was on one side, Krishna was on the other side. Radharani had a garland, but she was looking in the opposite direction to Krishna. So Jadurani showed this painting to Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada looked at the picture, and he said, oh, Srimati Radharani has another boyfriend? She was looking the other way. So Radharani felt so bad. Oh no, this is maha offense. Radharani is in that. And then Prabhupada could sense, he said, no. Radharani is looking for Jadurani to give her a garland because she has painted such a nice picture. So that was interesting. Prabhupada wasn't just seeing a picture. He was seeing, this is Krishna. When Srila Prabhupada saw the deities, he wasn't just seeing, this is a deity. This was Krishna. In Juhu, they had so many problems making the temple. So many difficulties. Dacoits, law cases, violence towards the devotees. Even the devotees themselves said, Srila Prabhupada, let's just go from this place and go somewhere else. And you know what Prabhupada said? He said, how can I go somewhere else? I brought Radha Ras Bihari here and I promised them I would make a temple for them. Because when Prabhupada saw Radha Ras Bihari, he wasn't just seeing a deity, this was Krishna. And I made a promise to Krishna. And if I made a promise to Krishna, how can I go back? Everywhere, Prabhupada saw Krishna. When Prabhupada was chanting about Krishna, when he was chanting the Mahamantra or Bhajan, he was seeing Krishna. In 1971 in Gorakhpur, Srila Prabhupada introduced the song Jaya Radha Madhav to the devotees. And for the first time before the class, he began to sing Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yes, you can come forward because there are some. Don't worry, I am fully vegetarian. So Prabhupada, yes, please come. So Prabhupada introduced this song, Jaya Radha Madhava, and then he explained, this song is a perfect picture of the spiritual world. Everything is there. Krishna is there, the gopis are there, Krishna's mother and father are there, Govardhan is there, Yamuna is there, everything is there. When Krishna wanted to come to the world, then Krishna in the spiritual world said to Srimati Radharani, I am going, will you come? She said, I will not come. You won't come. How I can do my pastimes without Srimati Radharani? So Srimati Radharani says, I will not come. Krishna said, but I have brought Vrindavan. And I have brought Vrindavan to this world, and I have also brought Jamuna, I have brought Govardhan, Giriraj, and I have brought the dust of Vrindavan. Then Srimati Radharani said, okay, then I will come. So Srila Prabhupada introduced this song, Jaya Radha Madhav. And then he sang it one day with eyes closed. Have you seen Srila Prabhupada singing Jaya Radha Madhav? Such focus, such meditation. Second day he sung, third day he sung, and on the third day when he sung, devotees could see tears coming from his eyes. Because Prabhupada wasn't just singing a song, he was in Vrindavan, he was with Krishna. So somehow or other we're thinking, when will the day come when we see Krishna? Every day we're chanting Krishna's names, every day we're reading about Krishna. Will a day come when we see Krishna? George Harrison, he says, I really want to see you, but it takes so long. It takes so long. Does it take long to see Krishna? Depends. One time, Srila Prabhupada was in Berry Place. You know Berry Place is the first temple in London, even before Soho, Manor, everything. So one time, Prabhupada was giving a lecture in Berry Place, so he was like sitting, and one person stood up, because you know Prabhupada would be at the other side of the temple room looking at the deity. So one person stood up in the middle of the class and said, but can you see Krishna? Prabhupada said, yeah, just sit down, then I will be able to see. If you sit down, I can see. So Prabhupada said, yes, I see Krishna. And then you know what happened? Prabhupada looked at him and he said, "Can't you see Krishna?" And he said, "No, I can't see Krishna." So now it was pin drop silence. He was standing, Prabhupada was there. Prabhupada said, "You cannot see Krishna?" Then Prabhupada looked at him and he said, "Do you want to see Krishna?" And in that moment he stopped and thought deeply. And after some moments he began shaking his head. He said, "No." Prabhupada said, "Therefore you cannot see Krishna." Because that desire is not there. That intensity is not there. That deep desperation is not there. How many people are crying for Krishna, crying to see Krishna? You see, people cry for all kinds of things in this world. But who is crying for Krishna? That, "Krishna, I must see you." The person who cries for Krishna, they will see Krishna. If you cry for things of this world, things of this world will come to you. But then when the things of this world come to you, eventually the same things will leave you. Because the nature of everything in this world is always changing. Everything changes. Nothing stays forever. Body changes. Your relationship changes. Your ashram changes. Everything changes. So now we're celebrating, Janmashtami is coming, Krishna is appearing, Krishna is appearing. But will Krishna appear in my life? Will I see Krishna in this life before time runs out? Will I really see Krishna face to face? That is the biggest question on the table. If you see Krishna in this life face to face, then life is successful. Otherwise, many nice things may be there, but still the perfection of life did not come. Then one will say, what does it take to see Krishna? What will I have to do in my life to see Krishna? So therefore, Krishna comes to this world and he appears. And when Krishna appears in this world, there is an incredible story of how Krishna appears. But this story is not just a story of different events. But this story of how Krishna appears, when you look at it systematically, it will give you all the keys to understand how to make Krishna appear in your life if you want Krishna to appear. And therefore, we turn to Srimad Bhagavatam to remember, how did Krishna appear in this world? Srimad Bhagavatam has 18,000 verses, isn't it? And the 18,000 verses of the Srimad Bhagavatam are split into 10 subjects. Atra shargo visargascha stanam poshanamutaya manvantare shanukatha nirodha muktirashraya. What does Srimad Bhagavatam talk about? First subject, sarga, primary creation. Second subject, visarga, Brahma's creation. So first creation is creation of the elements. Second creation is creation of Brahmaji. Third topic, Sthanam, all the different planetary systems and the cosmology of the universe. You want to know the cosmology of the universe? You can study in Srimad Bhagavatam 5th canto. But Prabhupada said, don't think you will understand it with your tiny pea-sized brain. It's very difficult to understand. People want to go to other planets. One time, Prabhupada was giving out the book, Easy Journey to Other Planets, isn't it? We have a book. So there was one man in Jhansi. So the man was fascinated. He said, wow, easy journey to other planets. If I read this book, can I go to other planets? Prabhupada said, yes. Yes. Prabhupada said, you can go to other planets. You can go to the ultimate planet, Goloka Vrindavan. The man said, wow, amazing. He said, and then can I come back? Prabhupada said, why you want to come back? He said, no, I wanna go, but I wanna come back here. Can I come back to Jhansi? Prabhupada said, no, yad gatva nani vartante. Once you go there, you don't come back. He said, I can't come back. Then I don't want the book. You take it. I don't want the book. So people have so many aspirations to go to the moon, to the Mars. Did they go to the moon? Conspiracy. Prabhupada said, no. He said different things, different times. Sometimes he said, no, they did. How they can go to the moon? The moon is a heavenly planet. You can't just take a spacecraft to the moon. They can't have gone to the moon. They must have filmed it in Arizona desert. And then later all the theories came out. Then sometimes Prabhupada said, no, they went somewhere, but they didn't go to the moon, they went to Rahu. Rahu is another planet in between Earth and the moon. And then sometimes Prabhupada said, even if they went to the moon, what is their credit? They just brought back some rocks. After going all the way there, you bring back some rocks. Maybe they did go to the moon, but can you see the moon just by going there? You need to have the consciousness. You can go to the moon, but that doesn't mean you'll be able to enter into the existence of the moon because it's on a different dimension. So, anyway, Sthanam. Bhagavatam talks about the different planetary systems. Poshanam. Fourth topic of the Bhagavatam is Bhagavatam talks about how Krishna protects. Krishna takes care. Krishna has got your back. Don't worry about anything. Krishna is always there to help. Utaya, fifth topic, creative impetus. What does creative impetus mean? How is this world expanding? How is this world multiplying in so many ways? Have you noticed how the world becomes more and more complex? Utaya, creative impetus. What's the creative impetus of this world? Anyone know? What is the impetus behind creating such a complicated civilization? Desire, lust. Kama esha, krodha esha. Because we have lust. And therefore, so many things, so many creations. One time Prabhupada was walking past the playground on the New York skyline, and he pointed at the playground and he said, children's playground. And then he pointed at the skyscrapers and he said, adults playground. Children's playground, adults playground. Building, building, building. Taller buildings, shorter tempers. Wider highways, narrower minds. More possessions, less satisfaction. What kind of world are we living in? The creative impetus, the desire Bhagavatam talks about. Manvantara, then Bhagavatam's sixth topic is all about the Manus. Isn't it? In every universal age, different powerful fathers of mankind are coming. The word man comes from Manu. Ishanukatha, seventh topic. Ishanukatha means, Isha means Supreme Lord, Katha means the talks. So Krishna has so many incarnations, isn't it? It's said that when you go to the ocean, as many waves as there are in the ocean, that many incarnations of Krishna there are there. In Bhagavatam, you only know some, in our Bhagavatam, some of the incarnations. Did you know that Krishna has one incarnation in all 8.4 million species of life? We don't know. So many things are there. But Bhagavatam gives different talks of the different incarnations. Nishingadev, Ram, Krishna, Buddha, so many. Nirodha. Nirodha means annihilation. Eighth topic. How everything is annihilated. The universe is annihilated. Ultimately, our own body is annihilated. Parikshit is annihilated. Everything comes to an end. They say life is like a game of chess. Whether you're the king, the queen, or the pawn, at the end of the game, everyone ends up in the box. Sorry to be so graphic, but that's the reality. Nirodha, everything moves. Everything is annihilated. Nothing stays. I went to school in London, in Wembley, in a place called Copeland School. If you don't know it, I'm very happy for you. It wasn't a very good school. A bit rough. But when I was some years ago, I thought, let me go back to my old school. Because so many memories, isn't it? 20, 30 years ago you were at school. It's very nostalgic. It reminds you where I was, where I am now. Go back to your old school. So I would drive past many times and I thought, well, one day I'll go back to my old school. And then one day I drove past my old school and the whole building had been knocked down. And when I saw it, my heart dropped. I thought to myself, that was a museum of so many memories, all destroyed in one moment. Nothing stays in this world. So therefore, Nirodha. And then, 9th topic, Mukti. Mukti means liberation. Liberation from the pain, liberation from suffering, liberation from samsara, liberation from material entanglement. We want to be free. Some of us don't want to be free. One time someone came to a guru and he said, what is the nature of illusion? And you know what the guru did? He jumped off the Vyasasana, he ran out into the courtyard, he caught hold of a tree and he started shouting, let me go, let me go, let me go. He said, this is illusion. You want to get free from the world, but then you hold on to so many things and you create so many attachments. Do you really want to let go? Or do you want to hold on? So therefore, Krishna speaks all about mukti. These are 9 topics of the Bhagavatam, but Jiva Goswami says all these 9 topics of the Bhagavatam are only meant to ultimately bring you to the 10th topic of Bhagavatam. And what is 10th topic of the Bhagavatam? Ashraya. Ashraya. What does Ashraya mean? Shelter. The place where you can go for shelter. The place where your journey ends. The place where you meet the fulfillment of your heart. The place where you experience the complete satisfaction of prema, pure love. And that ashraya is Krishna. So therefore, Krishna is the object. And when we read Bhagavatam, then ultimately the place that we're meant to come to is Krishna. And so the Bhagavatam describes the story of Krishna and how Krishna appears in this world. The first lesson of how Krishna appears in this world is very, very powerful. Because right at the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam, the narration is given of how the demigods are looking at the universe and they're seeing that there is a great degradation. You know how to understand that the world is becoming very, very bad? There's one key way to understand that the world is not going in a good direction. You know what that one thing is? Have a guess. You see plenty of it in the world today. Say again? Killing of cows? Yes. War? Dishonesty? Okay, so these things, war, killing of cows, integrity in society, who is supposed to make sure that these things don't happen? Rulers. And when you find that the rulers are the ones who are actually doing it, when you find that the rulers are the ones who are actually corrupt, the rulers are the ones who are the most dishonest, then you can understand civilization is not moving in a good direction. Because what does Krishna say? Yad yad acharati shreshtas tatadevataro jana sayat pramanam kurute lokastadunvartate. Whatever a great man does, or whatever someone in leadership does, all the world will pursue. So the demigods began to see that the rulers themselves are becoming so corrupt, so exploitative, so materialistic. The future is dark. The future is dim. It's just going to get worse and worse and worse. So they all went to Brahma. And they said, Brahma, you created this thing. You created this world. And now it's a complete mess. You do something. He said, what can I do? I've also become powerless to do anything against the demons. They were so desperate. They were so worried. They saw no other recourse of improvement in the world. And therefore, what did Brahma and all the demigods do? They said, we are powerless, but somehow or other we need Krishna to descend to the world. We need Krishna to appear. If Krishna doesn't come, there is no chance of any improvement in our lives, in the lives of the people to come in future generations. And so what did they do in that mood of great desperation? They went to the milk ocean. Yes, there is an ocean of milk. An ocean of milk? Well, if you can have an ocean of salt water, why you can't have an ocean of milk? Possible. Anything's possible. So therefore, the demigods went to Svetadvip on the milk ocean. And there Vishnu is residing. And there, what did the demigods do? They began to chant a prayer. What was that prayer? Purusha Shukta. So many prayers in glorification of the Purusha, the Supreme Person, who is the maintainer of all living entities. And as they were praying, they didn't hear anything. No response. No response. Doesn't Krishna hear my prayers? Sometimes you feel like that. Is Krishna, are you listening? Are you hearing my prayers? We come in front of Krishna sometimes and we think, okay, for you, you're sitting there smiling, playing your flute. What about me? Are you listening? Are you hearing? So they didn't hear anything. Krishna is not replying. But then Brahma, in his trance, Vishnu communicated to him. And Vishnu said, I will come. Even before all of you came to petition me to descend to the world because of degradation, even before all of that happened, I already decided I will come. And so Vishnu said, I will come in my very same self, Krishna. Once in a day of Brahma, Krishna himself comes to this world. So Krishna said, I will come. All my associates, I've already told them to take birth. All the demigods, I've told them to take birth in the Yadu Vamsa, the dynasty of the Yadus. And before I appear, my brother, my first expansion, first he will appear. Some days before me. And after he appears in this world, my Shakti, she will also come. Yoga Maya. And therefore Balaram and Yoga Maya take birth before Krishna appears. And then Krishna said, I will appear. And when I appear, I will arrange everything. I will rectify the whole situation. And so Krishna appeared in this way. But what is the first lesson we're learning from the Bhagavatam? That if you really want Krishna to appear in your life, then there must be some desperation. You have to kind of be a little bit finished with this world. You got to kind of look at the world and think, I'm here, I have to do my duties, I have my responsibilities, But we don't invest any more hopes in this world that there is something to achieve or something to strive for here. You may say, how do you live? Don't you guys have any ambitions? Don't you want to do something good for the world? Don't you want to? Yes, we do have ambitions. We want to do something good for the world. Devotees are always thinking big, but not because they think they'll get any personal benefit from it. Devotees are incredibly ambitious. Devotees are incredibly busy. Devotees are incredibly motivated. But they're not motivated to do things thinking that that's going to bring me happiness, that's for my selfish gain. They do things to serve others, to help others, to serve Krishna. But for themselves, they have nothing more on the to-do list here in the material world. They've wrapped it all up. And their desperation, their only desperation now is, how will I find Krishna in my life? So how much desperation do we have? If you have 10% desperation, then Krishna will show 10% of himself. And the more desperation that you have, that no, in this life I must see Krishna, then Krishna will reveal more and more of himself. The first chapter of Bhagavad Gita is known as Arjun Vishad Yoga. You understand the word Vishad? Vishad means desperation. The first yoga of the Bhagavad Gita is the yoga of desperation. You can advertise, we're doing yoga classes. Not Hatha Yoga, not Ashtanga Yoga, not hot yoga. Vishad Yoga, the yoga of desperation. Why the yoga of desperation? Because until and unless Arjun comes to that point of desperation, we may hear so many things, but it will not sink into the heart. Have you noticed how we can hear so many things, but it doesn't sink into the heart? One time someone said, after I was giving class at the Manor, and one person said, Prabhu, that was amazing class. I said, what did you like? He said, it ended on time. That was his measure of a great class. Because most of the time, how much is really sinking in? Okay, here we go again. It's the weekly pep talk. It's the weekly, weekly speech to fire everyone up. How much? Can you digest food if there's no fire of digest? There must be a fire. Otherwise you eat so much, but you will not digest. How many classes did we hear? How many kirtans were we in? How much transcendental knowledge did we receive? But still it's hitting us, but it's not going in. It's not sinking into the heart. Because the moment we walk out, we're again confronted with our old self again. Not really changing. Not really evolving. Because the desperation isn't there. So then the next question is, how will we get the desperation? How will we become desperate for Krishna? How will we become desirous to see Krishna? There are many things you can do for that, but the first thing is you must associate with those who have desperation. If you are with someone who's running after Krishna, Prabhupada said, just hold on to my dhoti. I've got the back door key to Goloka Vrindavan. If you stay close to the devotees, it's dangerous when you stay close to the devotees. Have you? Even my parents told me, they're nice, but don't go too close. They knew. They were wise. They knew. Keep 2 chevrons apart. Don't go too much. Like in Mana, we had Shruti Dharma Prabhu. Some of you may know. He was a great soul, great devotee, amazing person. And when I saw him, I was so inspired. I thought, wow, here is a real sadhu, a real saintly person. So I thought, I want to be around him. I want to take the association of someone who is close to Krishna. But you know, as years went by in my life, I realized that that association came with a price. Because when someone is close to Krishna, if you stay close to them, then they'll also bring you close to Krishna. And they will make you do things, not make you, but inspire you to do things in your life which otherwise you would never do, because they're bringing you to Krishna. Sometimes Shuddhi Dhamma Prabhu would phone me, and when his name would appear on my phone, then there would be a mixed feeling. Now I would think, now I'm going to associate with a saintly person. So happy. Yes, of course. Who doesn't want to be with a saintly sadhu? But the other side of me said, this conversation is going to involve some element of surrender. He's going to make me do something for Krishna I don't want to do. I don't know if I'm ready for that. So it came with a price. But when we look back, we realize, yes, the devotees, they made us. They gave us that desperation. We have to become desperate through reading the books, because the books reveal to us that there's nothing left in this world. Krishna explains, Mamupetya punarjanma dukhalayam shashvatam napnuvanti mahatmana samsiddhim paramam gata. Krishna says, one who comes to me, they escape this world which is full of dukkha, full of unhappiness, and ashashvatam, full of temporary situations. Everything here is temporary. Everything is ultimately breaks down. And so through philosophy we realize I need to stop searching in this world. Stop looking for that which isn't here. Once I went past a travel agent, and you know, past the travel agent there was a big poster of an Arabian desert. And it was ironic. The picture was of the Arabian desert, and you know what the caption was? Keep on exploring. It was so ironic, you know. So what are you going to explore in a desert? There's nothing in a desert. And even if you come in a desert and you think you find something, it's a mirage. So what do you do? Is that what you do in the whole point in the desert? In the wrong place. The right thing, Anand, Sukh, but in the wrong place, material world. So through philosophy we become desperate. We understand I have to reorientate my energy, my attention in a different place. And you know, sometimes these things don't do it. So then you know what Krishna does? Krishna arranges situations in our life to help us become a little desperate. Krishna may put an alarm clock in your life. Wake up. Just when you thought everything was perfect, then something happens and we think, why? Krishna's grace. Wake up. Alarm clock. Become a little bit desperate, and then you will really begin that journey, really begin to absorb Krishna consciousness in a deeper way. So Krishna says, Bhogeshvarya prashaktanam taya parita chetasham vyavasayatmika buddhi samadho nuvidiyate. The determination, the resolute determination for devotional service does not take place in the heart of one who is still attached to the things, the aspirations of this world. What does Kunti Maharani say? Janmeshwarya shruta shribhir eidhamana madapuman Nirvarhatya vidatum ve tvamakinchana gocharam. Kunti Devi, she says, most people in this world are looking for, broadly speaking, 4 types of things. And while they still invest their hopes in these 4 types of things, they will never be able to approach me with sincere desperation. And what are those 4 things? Janma. Janma means birth, but in this context, it means one who is looking for very, very happy family life. So what does that mean? Everyone should have miserable family life? Is that what we're saying? No, we should have a nice family life. We should have a nice stable situation. We should serve our husband, wife, children nicely. But one who is pinning all their hopes for happiness on this situation, they're not able to fully invest themselves in Krishna consciousness. That doesn't mean we become inattentive or neglectful in our family life, but it means no, we do it with great duty and great care and attention. But we realize that all of us are together not just to make each other happy, because we'll never be able to make each other happy. Has a husband ever made a wife fully happy? Impossible. Has a wife ever made a husband fully? Have children ever made their parents? Sometimes children will come, they take everything. There's one type of son, there's 4 types of son. Did you know this? There's 4 types of son, and one type of son is called a Rini Putra. You know what that means? If in your last life you ripped someone off, if in the last life you did some corruption against someone and you unlawfully took from them, then in the next life they may come back as your son. And then that person, that boy or that girl, smiling with all the charm in the world, daddy, daddy, mommy, you will think, yes, give, of course, that's my... And they will take everything away from you. How it all works, who knows? So family life, we must be dutiful, but we must realize Krishna brought us together to help each other go to the Param Gati. So one who is investing their hopes in this temporary situation, they cannot. Aishwarya, if one is investing so much attention in trying to become wealthy, trying to become the acquirer of so many things, so many achievements, so many accolades, so many status symbols, you cannot approach Krishna with sincere desperation. Shruta, one who is trying to become learned, one who is trying to have some distinction. I want to be known, I want to make my mark, I want to leave a legacy, I want to be known as the best, I want to have my ego inflated. No, then you cannot approach Krishna with sincere desperation. And Shri, beauty. One who wants to become beautiful, one who wants to be attractive, one who wants to have many followers, one who wants to be the object of adoration, that will divert your attention. So therefore Kunti Devi says, I tried these things in so many lives. I put so much energy into all of these things. Now Krishna, in this one life, give me a little bit of detachment from these things, so that in this one life I can try and give my heart to you. Because if I try to do both things, it will not work. It will not work. That doesn't mean, as I said, you can't have a family, you can't have a stable situation, you can't have some money in the bank account, you can't have nice clothes. You can do all of these things. But let us not pin our hopes. Rather, let us pin our hopes on Krishna and become desperate to advance in that way. And that will bear some real fruit. So, this is the beginning of the story of how Krishna appears. that the demigods are praying in desperation. And that is the first lesson that the Bhagavat teaches us, that without that desperation, Krishna will not appear in our life. And therefore, let us learn the art of how to cry for Krishna. Not just the tears of the eyes, but the Atma Krandan, the cry of the soul. That is what Arjuna did. And therefore, when Arjuna heard Krishna's instructions, it went to heart. And what did Arjuna say? Nastamoha smrite labdva tvat prasadat mayachyuta stito smi gata sandeha karishe vachanam tava. Because Arjuna had that desperation, when he heard Krishna's instructions, he said, Nasta moha, my illusion is gone. Smrite labdva, I've regained my memory. Stitosmi gata sandeha, all my doubts have been annihilated. Karishe vachanam tava, I know exactly what I want to do in this life. I only want to serve you, Krishna. And that is the beginning of how Krishna appears in our life. Hare Krishna. So I won't go on and on and on. We could give very long lectures, but once there was one taxi driver and one reverend. So they somehow they both died. So they both came to the pearly gates of God. So then, when the taxi driver came, then the gates just opened, and there was a voice from the sky, "Welcome, my son. You have qualified yourself to enter the divine kingdom." A taxi driver. He's just a taxi driver. Walked through. Then the reverend came to the gates. It's like the electric gates didn't open. He's like, what's going on here? Is there some defect? Open the gates. Someone open the gates. And then the voice came from the sky and said, Reverend, for you one more life. You have to try again. So the Reverend looked up at God and he said, all my life I lectured. I gave so many talks about you. I glorified you. I said your knowledge. And then the Reverend looked at God and he said, and this taxi driver before me, he didn't do anything. And you let him through. And you know what God said? He said, when you spoke my glories, you simply put people to sleep. But this taxi driver, when he used to drive, people were forced to pray to God. So he said, he made people God conscious. You put people to sleep. So I don't want to put you to sleep. I want to go back. But if there are any questions, then we can take some questions. Any thoughts? Doesn't always have to be a question. It can be a thought. Is it practical, what I'm saying? Is it practical to become desperate after Krishna? Or am I speaking something impractical? Is practical? Possible? Practical is one thing. Possible is another thing. Is it predictable? That's another thing. Practical means, anyone can do it. Possible means, yes, I think I can also do it. Predictable means, yes, I will do it. So which one is it? Practical, possible, or predictable? Practical. He's honest. It's practical, possible, and predictable. Any question anyone has? Yes. Sumaid, one who has great intelligence.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Maharaj. Very nice class. I really like the point of how we need to be desperate. I don't think I am desperate enough, so I'll try and be more desperate. Maharaj, my question is about detachment. So in the process of Krishna consciousness, there's naturally attachment to Krishna and detachment from the material world, material activities, and those attachments and those reactions. In the process of Krishna consciousness, I want to check if this is the right way of doing. So our process is that by merely detaching and focusing on prioritizing on detaching from material things, will bhakti arise, or by prioritizing attachment to Lord Krishna, will detachment arise from the material world, or are they like two parallel? Sorry, it's my alarm.
First, get rid of that phone.
Or are they two parallel tracks?
Good point. Is all of those.
Oh, okay.
So, sometimes in Shastra you will hear that first you have to be detached and then you can fully attach yourself to Krishna. Other times in Shastra you will hear that if you get attached to Krishna, automatically you will get detached from material things. So which is true? Both are true. In the beginning, we have to have some level of detachment so that we can focus on our focused spiritual practices to Krishna. But then when we have focused spiritual practices towards Krishna, then eventually we develop a type of love where a very spontaneous type of detachment from the material world comes. So in the beginning, the detachment is a detachment based on knowledge. But in the mature stage, detachment comes as a consequence of higher taste. So in the beginning, you detach because of knowledge. And in the mature stage, you detach because of higher taste. But in both stages, there is detachment, but the quality of the detachment is different. Does that make sense?
So should we prioritize? Is that, I guess,
because you are in the stage of a sadhaka, then you prioritize on detachment based on knowledge. If you only detached based on higher taste, well, not to say you don't have higher taste, but you know what I mean. It's you may get yourself also entangled in many other things unnecessarily. But let me say another thing as well when it comes to detachment in Krishna consciousness. So Rupa Goswami, what does he say? Anashaktasya vishayan yatharham upayunjata nirbandha Krishna sambandhe yuktam vairagyam uchyate. He says for Vaishnavas, for bhakti practitioners, what they should do is when they see the things of this world, they should understand the Hari Sambandha Vastuna. How does this Vastu, how does this thing have a Hari Sambandha? How can I connect this thing to Hari? Then when you take something and you connect it to Krishna, Yuktam Vairagyam Uchyate. This is known as devotional renunciation. Yukta Vairagya. Yes. So what does that mean? If you have a family, it's not that tomorrow you have to just take sannyas. But if you're interested, let me know. No, I'm joking. Yeah. No. One time Srila Prabhupada, he wanted someone to become a temple president. So, who wants to be a temple president? We're not looking at you. Isn't it? One time they asked Prabhupada, what's the job description of a temple president? You know what Prabhupada said? If something goes wrong, it's your fault. What kind of job description is that? So no one wants to be a temple president. No one will say yes, generally. Unless they're very, very humble. So Prabhupada wanted this one devotee, he was a householder, to be a temple president. So Prabhupada was thinking, how will I break it to him? So you know what Prabhupada did? He said, call this person. So this person came, already he was thinking, oh my God, Prabhupada's going to drop a bombshell, he's going to tell me, maybe he's going to tell me to become the Sankirtan leader, or maybe the congregational leader, he's going to tell me to take up some responsibility. So then he came into the room, and Prabhupada looked at him and he said, I want you to take sannyas. And he thought, oh my God, sannyas. This was like a different level, you know. I thought maybe Sankirtan leader, maybe this, maybe at worst temple president, but sannyas. So, and then his head was spinning. He was like going around the chandelier. He was beside himself. Then Prabhupada looked at him and he said, okay. You don't want to take sannyas? He said, no, I don't want to take. I said, okay, then at least become temple president. Yeah, anything. I'll do anything. I'll become temple president. I'll do whatever you want, but not sannyas. That last thing. Krishna Bhakta Bodha Chatu. Krishna's devotees are very intelligent. They know how to. So I was saying, if you have a family, it's not that you have to take sannyas. All that you have to understand is how now I can make my family life in such a way that it can be Hari Sambandha, Vastuna. It can be connected to Krishna. If I have a career, how I can use this career to connect it to Krishna. If I have a position, influence, isn't it? George Harrison, he wanted to join. Did you know that? He wanted to join the temple. He wanted to get initiated by Srila Prabhupada. And you know what Srila Prabhupada said? You don't need to take initiation. You're already Hari's son. That was quite, He said, no, you just make songs about Krishna. That will be the greatest service. So he remained a musician, remained a pop star, but did amazing things for Krishna. So find out how to detach yourself in a way that is relevant, appropriate, and in a way which makes you more devotionally connected to Krishna. We're not just here to be renounced, dry renunciates away from the world. We want to see Krishna everywhere in everything. But yes, some level of detachment, and then later on, when you have the higher taste, none of this will capture your imagination anymore. Vairagya means detachment, isn't it? But Vairagya has a double meaning. You know that? Vishesha Raga. Vairagya means detachment, but Vairagya also means Vishesha Raga, a very special type of attachment. So a Vairagi is not just one who is detached from everything in the world. A Vairagi is one who has a very special attachment for Krishna. Because of that special attachment for Krishna, they can walk away from everything in the world. Is that okay? Thank you. Anything else anyone would like to ask? Yes.
Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, I would just like to ask you, are there any methods for detaching ourselves from material things and material world? Are there any methods that are given in Shastra?
Yeah, so basically I was explaining detachment takes place on different levels. Here I briefly explained it, now I'll explain it in full. The lowest level of detachment which comes is detachment which comes from frustration. Sometimes when Krishna wants to detach you from a situation, he'll frustrate you in that situation. You think, my God, I don't want anything to do with this anymore. But that's very low type of, because it's just based on pain. You realize the pain of that thing. Higher than that is detachment which comes from knowledge. When you realize that, no, there's something more to attain. There's something higher to get. Therefore, let me not have my attention diverted by these things. Let me continue going, isn't it? Like when you go India and you go into a shop and you start bargaining, isn't it? Once I went to buy 50 chadars for all the devotees, Loi Bazaar, Vrindavan. So I went into the shop. I said, 50 chadars. It's for brahmacharis. You should give good price. So he gave a price. And immediately what do you do when he gives a price? In your mind you're calculating what is the equivalent in pounds. So you do all the maths. And you think, wow, that's so cheap. So, then you just think, yeah, just take it. That's a great price. But in India, the first price, never the right price. So then you have to say, no, that's too much. We are brahmacharis, we are beggars, we don't have anything. Wallet full of cash. We have nothing. I don't have anything, I'm a beggar. No, then he goes little bit down. Then you have to start walking towards the door. No, it's too much. Then you have to go out the door. Then he follows you. No, come back. No, you're not giving good price. No. Keep back. Don't sell out halfway. You have to keep going. Even though all the prices sound good, there's the best prices at the end. You have to keep going. So spiritual life is like that. In this world, even when you come to Krishna consciousness, many benefits are there. But don't think that's the main benefit. Now I am known in the society of devotees. Now everyone appreciates my Kirtan. Now I have reached the goal of life. No, keep going. Don't get diverted. There's something more. So don't detachment based on knowledge, knowing there's always something higher. And then eventually, like we said, detachment will come from taste. So these are the way in which Krishna detaches us. It's okay? Okay, one final question to take us to 7:15 if anyone has. One final taker. Yes, Rajendra Lal Prabhu. He is my guru. When I came to Krishna consciousness, Rajendra Lal Prabhu was a great inspiration to me. So here I am sitting in front of you and it's awkward.
And the tables have turned, Prabhu. I'm very fortunate, Prabhu, that I had some tiny opportunity to persuade you to become Krishna conscious, but you was already a saintly person. Hare Krishna. So my question is more about your original subject here, which is about desperation. Now, as we travel through this Krishna conscious movement, we meet so many people. And this word desperation, what is the foundation of this desperation, and how do we motivate that desperation?
Desperation is not anything new to anyone, isn't it? Because there's a desperation in everyone's heart to do something, to achieve something, to have something. Who in this world lives without a desperation? Everyone is longing, striving for something. Who is inactive in this world? Every day, how many emails are sent? 500 millions, billions of emails. It's such a busy world we live in because everyone's desperate, everyone's looking for something. And what does George Harrison say? Everyone is looking for Krishna. Some know, some don't. When we go out on book distribution and we stop someone, then the trick in book distribution is you just have to show them that everything they're desperate for in their life can actually be found through Krishna. You just have to convince them of that fact. So therefore devotees are desperate, they're not desperate, they're expert in showing people how actually what they're looking for in so many things of this world are to be found in Krishna. Book distributors are expert. Once we were in Liverpool and we were distributing Krishna books. So this one devotee, he showed a Krishna book to this one person. He said, this is like Lord of the Rings. It's like, so many stories. Like, this is amazing. You're going to be like... So the person was into it completely. And so the devotee said, it's yours. And then the person said, no, I don't want this book. He said, but you're interested, you like it. You were so excited. He said, yeah, I am. But this guy is blue. And I'm a Liverpool fan. Blue means Everton. You think I can ever have something blue in my house? Are you crazy? And you know what the devotee did? The devotee said, no. You don't know. You don't understand. Krishna is blue, but you don't understand. And then he opened the book and he showed him the Dasa avatar and the picture of Varahadev. And he said, but you don't know. Krishna comes back to this world in a reddish form. Varahadev. And when God comes in the reddish form, he plays football with the universe. This guy looks at the book, he goes, God? Red? Playing football with the universe? It's my kind of God. I'll have it. I'll take it. I was like, wow, that was impressive, you know. That was very impressive. So the devotees, they know how to show people that what they're looking for is in Krishna. Everyone is desperate. Look at all of the songs in the charts. They're all about love, isn't it? You can sing a few Bollywood songs, isn't it? Or a few English songs. Last Christmas, I gave you my heart, but the very next day, you threw it away. Desperation. Everyone's desperate. Everyone is looking for love. But it's all frustrated love. So, desperation is not something new to us. The foundation is the calling of the soul. Either you cry for the things of this world, or you cry for Krishna. The cry of a samsarika, or the cry of a sadhaka. Which one will it be? You know what Madhvacharya says? He says, if you add up all the tears that the soul has shed for the things of this world, if you add up all of the tears of the conditioned souls for the things that they have aspired for in this world that have ultimately let them down, all of those tears would be enough to fill oceans. We cried for people, we cried for situations, we cried because we didn't get the job, we cried because we failed our exams, we cried for so many things. Now cry for Krishna. Therefore Gogavinda Maharaj, he said, we are not opening temples. We are opening crying houses where people can come to learn the art of how to cry, the cry of the soul for Krishna. So not that now we have Aarti and everyone just begins crying, like that would be nice, but it's not just the external cry, it's the real cry of the Atma. That, no, I want to be connected with Krishna. That was a very general answer, but maybe it helps something in there. Yes, you can also comment.
I was just thinking that is it that over many lifetimes you have to get to that stage of desperation that I want God.
Lifetimes, many experiences, many associations with great people, and then maybe it will all accumulate. All of you are here, it's not by chance, because you already were there. You already were there in a previous life. So we're just carrying on. And now, we must also carry on. Prasadam is there. So thank you so much for your time and attention. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam. I think there's some signs here that we should time out here. I mean, I'm fine, but I don't know how all of you are. I mean, it's hot and it's
Just one question.
Just one? Okay.
Okay. Who would like to ask?
I don't think so. It's on.
Thank you, Maharaj. You mentioned about the practicality, possibility, and predictability. I think if you give your association regularly, it will become possible and predictable.
Hare Krishna. I don't know. Well, we have to encourage each other. Prabhupada said it's a pushing movement. So, Harisori Prabhu, when he was in India, he couldn't control the crowds. So Prabhupada said, no, you just have to push them. He said, how you can push people like that? That's not nice. He said, Prabhupada, no. India means if you want to control the crowd, you just push them. But he said, the more you smile, the more you can push. So, with a smile, we're pushing each other to realize there's something amazing to achieve in life by Srila Prabhupada's grace. And it doesn't have to destroy your life or turn your life upside down, should I say. But there's a beautiful way in which we can make our life successful in all ways by becoming desperate for Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. His Holiness Keshav Maharaj Ki Jai. So thank you so much, Maharaj, for that wonderful interactive session. I can see that devotees are very much enlivened, and not only me, but everybody here wants you again here, Maharaj. So I met Maharaj at Birmingham 24-hour Kirtan, and we had a quick chat. Maharaj has kindly agreed. I'm always asking Maharaj to come here, but Maharaj, you see, not just me, all the devotees of Manchester wants you here whenever possible, Maharaj. Thank you so much. As you all know that Maharaj will be with us tomorrow as well. There is a morning program. There will be class. Sumit, there will be a session in the morning, isn't it? Yeah, so if some of you are interested, they can come. You can come at around 8 o'clock. There will be a session by Maharaj. And the Sunday feast lecture tomorrow at 1 o'clock will be given by Maharaj as well. Yes.
Hare Krishna. So for those of you who are younger, roughly the high school, university age, Maharaj will also be delivering a session from 12 to roughly 12:45, 1 o'clock. So that will be upstairs in the library room. So for those of you who maybe are newer to Krishna consciousness or have more questions practically relating to that, Maharaj will be able to assist directly to that audience at that time tomorrow. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
So Maharaj has authored 10 books, and he brought with him around 3 titles now, only 3 titles. The first one is Book Bhagavata, summary of Srimad Bhagavatam, and the Chaitanya Charitamrita summary as well. And the Gita 3 is about Gita, Maharaj?
Practical exercises on how to apply the Gita.
Yeah, practical exercises and how to apply Gita in your daily life. And those books are available next door. If you would like to have a copy, please see Nehal Prabhu, and Maharaj would be happy to sign them. And also just like to mention quick couple of announcements. Friday, you all know Janmashtami, we are celebrating at Jain Samaj, starting from 7 p.m. onwards. That's the evening program. But also morning, we'll have Mangalarti starting from 5 a.m. in the temple here. So there will be full morning program starting 5 a.m. till 9 a.m. in the morning here in the temple, and from 7 p.m. onwards at Jain Samaj. And on Saturday, we will be celebrating Srila Prabhupada Vyasa Puja, appearance day of Srila Prabhupada here in the temple, starting from 10:30 a.m. So you're all welcome for that. Thank you. We'll have a short kirtan. Okay, so London Rath Yatra. This year, London Ratha Yatra falls on Radhashtami Day, September 4th. It's a Sunday. That is the only available date for them. So we are planning to take a coach to go to London. Every year devotees go from here. Although it's Radhashtami, number of devotees have expressed their interest to go and celebrate. If you are interested to come with us in the coach, you see myself or Radha Vinod Prabhu or Braj Kumar Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So we'll have a 10-minute short kirtan and then we can head towards prasadam. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Shri Shri Radha Gokulanand ki Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Nitai Gaura Premanande. Hare Krishna. Mahaprasade Govinde. Nama Brahmani Vaishnave. Svalpa Punyavatam Rajan. Vishvasaneva Jayate. Sharirara Vidyacharane. Yodendriya Tahekar. Jive File Visay Sagare. Dharmathe Jivayati. Loba Moisu Durmati. Akejita Katina Samsare. Krishna Bodhado Yamoy. Kori Bara Jiva Jaya. Swaprasadana Dilo Bhaya. Sayana Mittapa. Radha Krishna Gunagaya. Medako Chaitanya Nitai. Jai Nimai Jai Nitai. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama Hare Rama. Rama Rama Hare Hare. Bhagavan Keshav ki. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
spent longer than I.
That's the dining room. Okay. Neil Prabhu's here.
Hare Krishna, we have Maharaj's books in the dining room opposite the temple room. So we look forward to seeing you there. Hare Krishna.
Haribo.